It's a place that opens minds and changes lives through exploration. Today on Spotlight, how the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History plans to celebrate its 60th milestone anniversary year. Kevin Davison, Director of Design and Fabrication, has been with the institution since its inception. He'll join us to talk about the past, present, future, and Grand Gala. And later on our Sunday morning program, a look at science, technology, engineering, and math in honor of Workforce Development Month. Michelle Reeves, Executive Director of DAPCEP, discusses her organization's nearly 50-year legacy of advancing STEM education in Michigan. It's Sunday, September the 21st. I'm Chuck Stokes, and this is Spotlight. Joining me now is Kevin Davison. He is Director of Design and Fabrication Services at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. Mr. Davison, thanks so much for joining us. You're doing
welcome.
okay?
Yes, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good. We've got a big gala coming up.
Yes.
60 years
Yes.
since the Wright Museum was founded way back in 1965.
That's correct.
Give us just sort of an overview. We don't give away all the secrets, but an overview of the intent of the gala. I assume to pay homage to the past and look towards the future.
Well, so like as you've indicated, it's been 60 years, and Dr. Wright, our founder, was an OB/GYN here in the city of Detroit, delivered some 7,000 babies.
That's a lot of babies.
Yeah. So throughout the year, we've been collecting information from as many of those individuals that he delivered as possible. And we'll be looking to do something major with that information that we've collected. Maybe it'll be a group photograph or if something's coming out of that. But for our gala, we are honoring some Detroiters during the event. Hubert Massey, the artist who designed our terrazzo floor in the center of the dome. Coleman Alexander Young II will be honored along with Scott Benson and some others that we're going to focus on honoring during this gala. It's going to be a fantastic gala. We'll be holding an auction where we'll auction off some, trips and, restaurants and
make it a grand affair.
Variety of different events.
How many years have you been affiliated with the Charles H. Wright Museum?
I've been with the museum for 42 years.
All right, so you've seen it all.
I've seen it all, pretty much.
You knew Dr. Wright. You were with him when this was just a vision.
Yes, absolutely.
Talk a little bit about the man, and if he were here today, what you think he would say about the museum he founded and the role that it's playing.
Yeah, Dr. Wright was a Renaissance man. He was, of course, as I indicated, OB/GYN here in Detroit. He was a civil rights activist. He was involved in the march from Montgomery to Selma. He was the attending physician there. Everyone during that march, Martin Luther King and John Lewis and others were attacked, and so he was the attending physician taking care of those individuals. And
so he had a deep passion for civil rights and for the movement.
Yes.
And of course, 1965 was when the Voting Rights Act was passed.
Absolutely.
So it was the height of the modern civil rights movement.
Absolutely.
But what was interesting is that he was a physician, and this passion for history and civil rights was almost like a side gig, even though it took up a lot of his time.
Right. He was developing these advances in medicine at the time as an OB/GYN, and really focused on that. And very successful at it, obviously. But like I said, he's a Renaissance man, so he is, like I said, is a civil rights activist. But founding this museum along with the African American Museums Association, he took that fire that was in his belly, you know, coming out of that march on Selma.
And made something
and
physical
came to Detroit the very next day and convened this group of citizens to found it was called the National Afro-American Museum at the time. And just kind of laid the foundation and groundwork for what we see today as the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History.
Great. All right, we need to take a quick little break. We'll come right back with some more questions to Kevin Davidson. Stay with us. Welcome back to Spotlight, talking to Kevin Davidson right before this major gala that they're going to have downtown celebrating 60 years of the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. Mr. Davidson, you're Director of Design and Fabrication. Would it be safe to say pretty much every major exhibit in that museum you've had some hands in?
Absolutely, absolutely, on one level or another.
What goes into the mind of someone such as yourself when you're designing these things that will be viewed by thousands of people? What kind of impact do you hope as a design person you have on people?
Well, you hope that as a designer, you can take what is this very important critical content and design something that's going to be impactful. And with a museum such as ours, you know, there's some critical information that needs to be imparted that, you know, ensures that our history is told, that the misinformation and some of the bad intentions of the past, race that's drawn from racism, is corrected in some of this. And that there's an opportunity to present and celebrate our history. And so from a design standpoint, you want to be able to take that content and create something, you know, that is experiential, that's immersive, and that is informative, and that our visitors can take away and really kind of become advocates and ambassadors for our institution.
Do you have a favorite exhibit through the years? One that maybe was more challenging than any other, or just for whatever reason, it sticks with you more?
I would have to say it's our core exhibit, which is
the slave ship.
This exhibition really traces our history from, and Still We Rise is what it's called. It traces our history from the beginning of mankind all the way up to, let's say, the 1980s. It's 22 galleries, and you're walking through a whole series of environments that are in a chronological order that tell our history.
Sure. And it's a very emotional exhibit.
Yes.
I mean, I've known people who seen it once can't go through it a second time because it is so emotional, or they have to be just in the right mood to be able to go through it because it is so impactful.
Absolutely. I mean, when you come out of the slave for exit that door of no return and walk on to the slave ship, you know, it is quite an emotional experience to walk onto a ship that, you know, is fashioned based upon an actual Brooks Plan slave ship designed to accommodate as many bodies as possible, you know, during the slave trade. And so you get that experience walking on the deck of the ship, and then when you go below and you see all of these shelves with you know, what's representing 300 people that have been enslaved, you know, it's difficult to walk through there and not feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final question, Mr. Davidson, with the gala just coming around the corner that hopefully people will be very involved and participate in.
Yes.
60 years from now, what do you think Dr. Wright would want out of this museum?
I think Dr. Wright would want this museum to do what he designed it to do 60 years from now, and that is, he founded this museum to, first of all, educate African American children, to
know
their history, and this is who you are, that you have a place here, what that is, and that contributions were made, on every level, from the Revolutionary War and Crispus Attucks taking the first bullet, to advances in technology that are going on right now.
He was a big proponent of wanting all races
Absolutely.
to visit this museum.
Yes. He said that
not
himself.
Just be for African Americans, even though it's about African American history.
Yes, exactly. And so his intent is that this is a museum that's going to educate everyone. And that the more you know about me, I think, and the more we know about each other, the more comfortable we are.
And a gathering place for the community, a key place to hold receptions and major events, very positive things that people walk away with great memories of.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Kevin Davidson, thanks so much for coming in and sharing your 40 plus years of experience with this great institution, and wish you best of luck in the future.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
And coming up on Spotlight, the leader of the Detroit area pre-college engineering program. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Spotlight. Joining me now is Michelle Reeves. She is Executive Director of an outstanding program called DAPCEP. A lot of you know all about the DAPCEP program. Michelle Reeves, welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you.
50 years. What do you attribute that legacy of education success with science, technology, engineering, and math?
I would say that our legacy has continued just because of the amount of the type of programming that we put on for students. We are definitely dedicated and have been dedicated for those 50 years to ensuring that students are being provided with the most relevant disciplines and education in science, technology, engineering, and math to ensure that they are prepared and excited for whatever the job is that is coming next, to ensure that they know that they are ready for these STEM careers that are growing and growing at a very rapid pace.
Yeah, and part of this workforce development, of course, with this being Workforce Development Month, ties very much into this. Way back in 1976 is when you started with the University of Michigan and Michigan State University as two key anchors there. It's grown tremendously since then, correct?
Absolutely. We started back then with 256 students. We are now serving over 17,000 students per year.
Wow.
It is, and it's amazing because we are still able to ensure that students, we are partnering with the universities, we partner with corporates, we are making sure that students are provided with the necessary educational opportunities that provide the foundation for us to be able to build a pipeline for them to be ready for the opportunities that are coming up in the workforce.
And Ms. Reeves, you work throughout the entire region, correct? It's not just the city of Detroit,
That is
it's throughout
correct.
this whole Tri-County area?
Yes, we have, through our partnerships with universities, we are really partnering with almost all of the public universities in the state of Michigan and many of the private. So we are serving students in Metro Detroit. We have students that we serve on the west side of the state and even in the northern part of Michigan as well. So our goal is to ensure that all students within our reach are prepared for the workforce, that they're prepared for the STEM opportunities that are coming down the pipeline.
Yeah. So give me an example of what's the perfect age to start a young person, male or female, and you serve what, through K-12?
Pre-K through 12.
Pre-K,
So
all right,
we
so the
have-
little bitty ones.
Absolutely. It's never too early, because what we try to do is get them excited about it early. At age 4, they're excited about everything at that point, and so they become used to the scientific language. They don't have that fear yet of what they can and cannot do, and so
And you make it fun.
we make it extremely fun, to the point where we don't want it to look like their normal school day. Our goal is to make it look different. It's all project-based learning. They're learning by hands-on, touching, feeling, seeing what it does. And then once they do that, we then look at it and teach them about the application in a real-world setting. So our young people as early as 2nd grade are doing dissections, heart dissections on using pig hearts. And so they're so used to it, so by the time they actually see it when they are in high school or in middle school, depending on their school, they've already seen it, so they're not intimidated by any of the work. And so we start as early as 4, and they can continue through 12th grade. And one of the things that's really great about the program, because of our partnerships with universities and corporate, a student could, if they start in in pre-K, they can go and sit in at least 11, 12, 15 different colleges by the time that they graduate from high school. And that makes the decision process a little bit easier. It's less intimidating when they are looking at what they can do in, from post-secondary education.
They build up that confidence at
Absolutely.
that point, as well as the training as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, we're going to take a quick little break, and we will come back. I want to talk about how this feeds into the job pipeline in getting these young people ready for careers in which they can, quite honestly, make a whole lot of money from. All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Spotlight, talking to Michelle Reeves. She is Executive Director of the long-term program, DAPCEP. Ms. Reeves, what's the success rate of your graduates?
We have nearly 100% of our students are graduating from high school, and almost 87% of them are moving to some level of post-secondary education. Mm-hmm. And so, again, our goal is to ensure that they have some level of foundation so that they are aware of these opportunities are before them. And so what we try to do is make sure we give them all the platforms so they know how to proceed, how to matriculate to a post-secondary education. And so many of them do that, and if they don't, many of them go into a workforce and still go into some form of a technical skill trade workforce.
Have you found that this contributes greatly here in Michigan to homegrown talent?
Oh, absolutely. Many of our corporate partners are a prime example of that. They support us because so many of our alumni are in their organizations in these STEM professional positions and talk about the great work that they've experienced, that they've had with the DAPCEP program and how it set them up for success. And so what corporate partners then try to do is come back and look at, to support us so that they look at it, because they see us as that pipeline to getting that next STEM professional.
Mm-hmm. Cost for the students, whether they're the little ones or they're a lot older, is it a lot out of their pocket, or do you just get a lot of corporate support to help?
We did a lot of corporate, federal, and foundation support. So to try to offset the cost of the program, there is a cost of $25 for some classes and maybe $100 for the others. And then for those who still have a financial need, we do offer financial aid, because we really do want to remove all of the barriers to anyone not being able to participate in our programs. And so we do fundraising, and we do write grants and have support from those other areas to really try to offset the cost of the true cost of the program.
Sure. Are you finding that we're increasing the diversity in terms of STEM education, and what's the real challenge there?
We are. Our goal is to increase the diversity in STEM education, but the challenge is just ensuring that all populations are aware of programs like DAPCEP. So it's still a large even though we've been around for 50 years, the world is changing, people are transitioning in and out of the state, and so we just continue to make sure that we are getting the word out to let all people in the state of Michigan understand that this is an opportunity that's available for them.
Yeah. You have a program called The Real McCoy. What is that?
So the Real McCoy,
That's coming up too.
it is. It's next Thursday. Time has gone by really fast. And so the Real McCoy is our annual fundraiser, where we celebrate the great work of STEM professionals. We celebrate people who have done fantastic jobs in ST, E, A, M, and M. We add medicine onto that. And then we, in the community, and then we also recognize the Junior Real McCoy, which are the students who have been in our programs throughout the year, where they've been nominated by their teachers for the good work that they've done in those same categories. So it's a way for us to celebrate, you know, sometimes you see a lot of different celebrations around sports and things like that. This is a way to celebrate STEM in education.
You told me off camera that probably the perfect age to start a young person on STEM education is age 4?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because they're still excited. They're, you're laying that foundation for skill sets that they will see at a later stage in their life. And they're as early as you can prepare them and get them used to the terms, get them used to the way of thinking, that critical thinking skill set. As early as that can happen, you're only setting them up for success.
Yeah. Very quickly, a little bit of time we have left. How did you get involved in this? I know you've been executive director for over a decade now.
Well, it's an interesting story. So I actually started out in business. So I was doing grant writing and just wasn't aware of the disparities around in STEM education, right? And so in my grant writing, as I was doing the research, I realized that there was disparities with women, ethnicities, and so I just became so passionate about working to make sure all young people had some experience in STEM education. And so I started out at Wayne State University doing assistant in their College of Engineering, doing work very much so like DAPCEP, and then been at DAPCEP almost 15 years. And in that time, we used to only do Saturday programs and summer camps. Now we are going into the schools. We're at community centers. We are reaching families wherever they are to ensure that all students have this access, because it is so incredibly important. Because I look at, go back to my own life and say the experiences that I did not have. And I want to make sure that all other students have these opportunities.
So as they say, reach one, teach one.
Absolutely.
All right, Michelle Reeves, thank you so much for coming in, sharing all this information. We'll put your website up on the screen so people can get in contact with your organization.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And I'm Chuck Stokes. We'll be back next week with more newsmakers in the spotlight. We hope you have a great week.